Hi, this is Anthony Meisner with Land Title. I just wanted to bring you the Boulder County market updates today. We are going to take a look at some really important factors here that are kind of changing in this market. So I think you'll all be pleasantly surprised, especially if you're working with a lot of buyers, to hear that we're starting to get a little bit of rising inventory and things are starting to slow down, just enough to give us a little bit of wiggle room maybe. The month-over-month actives are still up 25%, 24%, and the solds are still through the roof. But the nice thing is that we're starting to see this green line here, the active inventory, start to really rise a little bit. Now we're only at 419 actives, so don't get too excited. It's still less than a month of inventory. The real issue we're going to run into this year is a supply shortage, probably for the rest of the year. We did have a little bit of a decrease in demand. There's been a lot of travel going on. There's a lot of other stuff that's kind of playing in as a factor for this. But the nice thing is, at least we're not having, as many showings as you could possibly get, overwhelming bidding wars. Maybe this will give you some relief for your clients, right? So if you look at detached and attached separately, they are pretty much mirrored across the board at this point. There's just been nothing as far as what's coming on the market, and everything's turning over very, very rapidly. So it's not like we're having sitting inventory in one market or the other, but they're pretty much parallel at this point. If you go into the active listings, when you look at this one, the combined active listings, you can really see here, one of the only places with a lot of inventory left on the market is the city of Boulder. And Longmont has so much coming, it's turning over as fast as it can. So you can see just the incredible year-to-date shrink in inventory across all of these markets. And that's becoming a bit of an issue, right? We've all felt it. We basically need 3 to 4 times the inventory we have now in order to get us back in a market that feels more normalized, and we're not dealing with these crazy over asking price appraisal gaps, where you're going to be able to get your FHA, your VA buyers in with little down. So that is concerning, definitely. If you want to come over here to the month supply of inventory, this is a good one to show kind of that saddle we go through, right? Usually we start to see rising inventory levels all the way into that, fall time period, and we're barely starting to see those trickle up. So that's a good sign for the market. But look at where our inventory levels are. We're less than a month still, and like we have been all year. That doesn't mean it's too late as a seller either. So push those sellers to get their houses ready, get on the market sooner than later, because it's going to get less and less competitive all year long, which it needs to get less competitive because we're having a lot of problems getting those buyers under contract, right? Lots of people can't compete and they're not able to get the home ownership they need. So this is a good sign for buyers, and it's not too late for sellers. So that's kind of the good takeaway here. If we flip over to days on market, this is generally more of a horseshoe. So we start at the highest point for the year in January, we work our way down all the way to June, and then we work our way back up all the way to December. So the lowest point in the market for the year should be that, May, June, July timeframe. These houses are moving really fast, right? These are the lowest numbers we've seen in Boulder County, maybe ever, if not forever, a very long time, right? So we still have record buyer demand, even though demand has been shrinking. So keep that in mind when you're talking to your clients. It should help them compete. It should make it more, give them more of an opportunity to get in and purchase something, but it's still competitive. So if there's news for the sellers, it's not too late. If we get over here to price point, this is one of the slides I recommend the most using with your buyers and sellers. Regardless of what price point they're in, there's a lot to take away from this. And the easiest way to realize this is just by using their price point as an example. So one of the biggest takeaways is that everything over $1 million, or really over 800,000, has been doing really, really well this year. The high-end luxury has done extremely, extremely well. Look at this, 54 at $3+ million this year sold, only 11 last year. Now, granted, that number is a little low, but off to the races in the luxury market. The sales look incredible up there. The diminished amount of sales at the lower end of the market is slightly concerning, except for the fact that most of the homes are getting out of the lower end of the market, right? They've appreciated enough that there just aren't very many homes left under 500,000, right? Or under 400,000. There's just very little inventory available. Now they're higher priced, right? So we'll have to take a look at these to see if this is really where we want our price brackets to be going forward. Boulder County has traditionally been a little bit more expensive, but right now we're just seeing what you can see at different price points is just how tight the inventory is, right? Over this year, we're down 60, 70% on most inventory, especially, what is that, under 2 million, right? Boulder County is one of those markets where even under 2 million, we're lots of buyers, lots of sellers, right? So not enough inventory. There's been as much moving through Boulder County as it possibly can. So those higher price points are really starting to translate to higher sales prices, higher average sales prices, and that's starting to change quite a bit. So good takeaway here, use your price bracket. You know, if you're selling an $800,000 house, there's been 54 actives on the market, but 248 total actives this entire year. We've sold 368 already. So they're selling as fast as they come on the market, right? If there are only 54 on the market and there were 84 that sold last month, it means that they're turning over faster than every month. So prepare your buyers for that market. Now, if it's a seller, maybe this is a good time to look at this month's supply versus days on market slide for that price point, 800 to a million. And you can see that we're at 0.8 months of inventory. So it may not sell first weekend. It might if you have everything right. You can see it's ultra competitive in this market. This is the days on market are calculated by time that goes active to time it's completely sold. So you have time here for a little bit more than a weekend. So they may not sell immediately. So if they get offers, they look good. It's a good conversation to start having about that. Set the precedent, right? This isn't the May market. This isn't the April market where we saw way over asking price offers. Now they're still coming in really high, and I'll show you that information here in a minute, but it's starting to cool just a hair. Now everyone don't panic, because compared to any other year in the past, we're still at the hottest market we've ever seen. Now, if we bounce over to the sold analysis, this gives you a little bit of information on kind of where things are happening and what that looks like. So if you scroll down here to this table, the Boulder market has had the most amount of sales. And why has it had more sales trending over the last 12 months than anywhere else? It's because it actually had some inventory to sell. So year to date, we've sold 1,100 homes this year instead of 750 last year. And if you look at some of the other markets, some of the smaller markets, they've really struggled. So some of these have not had as many sales as in the years past. Look, in year to date, Louisville is only 15% down. Erie and Longmont are down in sales as well. And it's just because of that supply constraint. We just have not had enough listings pop on the market. If we look at the average sales price, I think this is where people really want to find out and understand, what is my home really worth? How much is the market appreciating? Well, the best way to describe this would probably be over the last 12 months, how much has it changed in that market, right? We have such a high volume of luxury properties. Everything looks like it's trending up so fast. I mean, if you look at year-over-year numbers, we're up 28, 29%, right? And that 28 or 29% is not accurately represented by the average home, because so much more luxury has sold than before. But if you look over the last 12 months, you can really start to see what's trending. Now, Niwot doesn't have enough sales. Things bounce around all the time in the city. So this one is kind of an outlier that you have to do a little bit more homework on. But in the city of Boulder, this really should shock nobody that we've seen about a 9% increase in average sales price. If we look out to places like Superior or Longmont, these markets that have been ultra competitive, starting with low inventory, and they're highly desirable, especially through COVID, they've seen lots and lots of increases in sales price even faster because of the bidding wars that are taking place. So use this trailing 12-month number, or use your year-to-date figures to really help understand, how much is my home actually appreciated in the marketplace. So that's a good one to work with clients on as well. This is always a fun one if you want to shoot a video. I always recommend this slide. It's easy to kind of tell where we're trending this year and how healthy the real estate market is. We're up almost 15% in sales year to date. And a lot of that has to do with, that void that we had in April and May during the shutdown last year. Now, if we go over to the last slide, this is the one I was going to tell you about. When you're working with your clients, this is the third slide I recommend you use. Help set those precedents, help understand, what's the percentage sold price to list price, right? We're in the hottest market we've ever seen in Boulder County, right? Things are going at 105.5% of sold price. That is finally starting to cool down just a little bit. That's less than it was last month. But if you do it by price point, you can really see what's happening. Now, up to 1.5 million. We had 109% asking price last month. Things are definitely selling, and they're still selling at these record paces, 105, 106% listed sale price. But those are less than the 110% we had in the same price bracket last month. So things are cooling off a little bit. There's a little bit more inventory to look at. You just have less buyer demand, which causes this. There's less bidding wars. They have not missed the boat to sell their home, right? Get your home on the market, because this is going to slowly trend down the rest of the year. It probably won't even hit 100%. We're still going to be in this incredibly strong seller's market for the rest of the year. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm sorry. This is Anthony with Land Title, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.